If your cell phone carrier charges you to receive text messages, you will incur the 10-cent fee or whatever it is when we do tests and when we do close down for snow days or if we have any other emergencies. But again, we plan to use this only in severe emergencies. So this is not something we plan to use on a weekly basis. Okay, so the cost should be minimal. Again, please don't set your business phone as a high priority, and you may want to use your cell phone and your home phone. Think about what makes the most sense for you. If you would like to update your contact information with our mass notification system, you can do that online by yourself if you just go to 3nonline.com. The trick, of course, is to remember the username and password you set up for yourself. So if you have problems with that, there is a way. It says, did you forget your password? You can try that. If you're having any problems, please contact Dale. He will be happy to help you update your information. I didn't ask him if I could say that, but he'll be happy to help you update your information. Again, this system is only as effective as the information is up to date and accurate. So we want to make sure that we have that information as accurate as can be. And at this point, we do have 16 minutes left, so we will open it up to questions as promised. And first, Deb. That's a good question. Just for those of you who may not have heard it, you can only dial 22 from a campus phone. So if you are experiencing an emergency and you only have a cell phone with you, you cannot dial 22 to reach campus safety. You can dial the switchboard. You can dial the main MCC number, and one of the options there is to contact security. So if you can't remember security's direct extension, which probably is a lot to remember, if you can call MCC's direct line from your cell phone, that would work as well.
The public address system, this has been a problem for as long as I can remember, cannot be heard in our offices.
Is Dale here today?
I guess I'm mostly okay. I'm mostly concerned when, maybe not a lot of people are around. Right. If we're all here, then the secretary probably hears it from the hall or something. But if, like I'm often here by myself on Friday afternoon, if it goes off, I'd never hear it.
Right, and that's an excellent question. If you didn't hear Dale's response, he said the issue has been addressed. That also goes back to why we want to use multiple communication methods if something were to occur. So if we did have a tornado warning and you, for some reason, were in a part of the building where you didn't hear the PA system, hopefully you or someone around you would get the notification that something's going on, and we've got the campus response team. So there'll be lots of ways to get that message out to folks. Yep.
And I think just to add to that, one of the things that we talked about as we were planning for this session is that if something doesn't work and you don't tell us it didn't work, then we don't know to fix it. So if there's an area that, like today when we did the fire alarms, if there was a fire alarm that wasn't going off, or if the PA system doesn't work in a particular area, or for the faculty in the classrooms where there are telephones, if you find out that the telephone's not working in that classroom, don't assume that somebody else has reported it. Go ahead and report that, and then we can address it, because we can't address those kinds of things if we don't know that they're broken.
This is all really helpful. My biggest concern, though, is probably where I need this information the most would be if I was in teaching and in charge of 36 students. And I know you guys said bring your cell phone to class, but if I'm up there talking about, trigonometry and I'm getting a text message, I won't even know I'm getting it. Do you have any ideas or thoughts on that?
I think that goes back to the multiple means of communication. I can't think of a time when we would just do the mass notification system. We will always do that in tandem with something else. So while you're teaching and you may not get the text message, you'll hear the PA system, or you'll be notified by the campus response team. There'll be some other way to get that word out.
Oh, just a thought on this one, on the multiple means. When we had the drill today, I could barely hear the person next to me talking, so I cannot imagine if if there was the confusion in the hallway and someone tried to use the PA system to say the fire's in the atrium, find another way to exit the building, I doubt that I would be able to hear the PA system.
I don't think we'd use the PA and fire alarm at the same time. In that sense, the campus response team would be key in helping direct people to the proper exit.
And I think to add to that, one of the things that may come in the future, if the digital signage thing becomes implemented, that may be another multiple method to address those kinds of things, because you're right, they're really loud, so you're not going to be able to hear something over the PA, but if we have the digital signage, we can post that kinds of information there. Questions? Raise your hand, people. I'm working off my French dip sandwich here.
I actually have two questions. For those of us who are off campus, how are we going to be notified of a tornado? Because we won't hear the PA. I mean, I'm not saying that jokingly. Are you going to call a single person? Or is there, I mean, because a lot of us are, like I work behind closed doors with clients.
Sure. In that sense, obviously the mass notification system would be helpful. I know the digital signage team is looking at the connection between Shaw Center and the main campus. Do you have anything? No, I was going to say. Oh, and the tornado sirens, obviously, if you hear them. Right, if there's a tornado in McHenry, it would vary depending on where the tornado is, if it would hit both campuses or if the warning would cover both campuses. So I think that's an excellent question, and it's something that we probably need to think more through it more thoroughly, but certainly the mass notification system would be helpful in that case.
Okay. The second one is do we have a responsibility for recommending students to opt out of the system, or personnel on their way? I mean, how do you opt out when you're not part of the campus community anymore? The 3N thing.
Oh, Dale does a cleanup process for students that are no longer enrolled. So that will happen based on enrollment status. And also in terms of employees, once they no longer work here, they're removed from the system.
And a student could certainly say, I don't want to be involved anymore. We could connect them with Dale. I've had students request through my office to not be a part of that anymore, and so I've then connected those students directly with Dale so that they could opt out if it's a student that's still here for some reason but chooses to not be a part of the 3N mass notification. So we do have ways to get students out of the system if that's what they so desire.
This is just a follow-up. Harriet mentioned that when you dial 911, they're going to take you through a series of questions. Those of you that are going to do CPR this afternoon are going to learn this, but you are never the person to hang up first. So always let the person at the other end of 911 hang up so that you're sure that you've given them all the information they need. Okay, so don't hang up first.
Also, if you arrive at the emergency first and you can't get away, you should never leave the person. Have a designated person go call 911. You know, it used to be where I would say call security first, but we're changing our thoughts and call 911 first because it takes a little while for the ambulance, the police to get to our campus. So always call 911 first.
Could you address a few years ago in the A building, the fire alarm went off and most of the teachers smelled burned popcorn and did not evacuate their students?
That's not recommended practice. That's
When I got outside, my class was out there.
I think the main point is if you hear a fire alarm, get out. That should be going through your mind.
I think it needs to be emphasized because it was quite discreet. We got outside, the fire department said, "Are you the only people in the building?" I said, "No, nobody else left." So it's kind of an important thing to remind people.